Hello and welcome back to the worst Warmachine channel on the internet. I'm Malorian, and it's time for another Warmachine Weekly. Now, this will be another topic brought to you by the patrons, but before I get into that, I want to do a special thank you to Samuel Stark, who actually upped the pledge, and so that's fantastic. Samuel is now a content manipulator, and then as well to KAir623 that also upped the pledge. But I think there's a mistake there because you did do it in such a way that you're not actually getting any benefits and you're just sending me stuff. So I'll message you and make sure we get this fixed because I want to make sure you're getting the bonuses for being a patron. Either way, the topic that the patrons picked for this week is going to be, will 25 points become more popular than 75 points? Now, I'm sure as soon as I say that, there's going to be two camps of people. There's going to be a fairly large group of people like, that's crazy. 75 points is the way to play this game. Everyone I know plays 75 points. Who's even playing 25 points? Malorian, this topic is ridiculous. Then there's also going to be another camp of people being like, of course, 25 points is so popular right now. Everyone I know only plays 25 points. It already is. This has already happened. You have to say now. Now, the reason why we have these two camps of people saying very opposite things is because really, you're only going to be seeing these camps being very set to one side or the other. If I was to go to a random city and I was to hear that, oh, they do Warmachine night at this location at this time, blah, 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 and I was going there, I would have to assume it's 75 points that they're playing. That is currently the way that most people play because traditionally the game's played at 75 points. But what is also going on here is that if you are playing at a 75 point level and somebody's coming in to play, they're going to bring 75 points. Why? Well, because if you bring 63 points, it's not going to be right. You could bring 27 points, but it's not right. You could bring some Pokemon or Warhammer, but if people are there always playing at 75 points, that's what you're going to bring, and that's what you're going to play. And that's how these silos get made, right? Same things from Warmachine. So like I said, where we had this 75 point, like traditioners, we could call them, they're all our traditional players that are used to just like 75, that's what we do. Well, all the people that have now joined into the game since Warmachine became popular, well, to them, 25 points is the normal. Their big thing is Warmachine. Whenever new people come in, well, what are you playing? Warmachine. Bring your 25 points. Again, you wouldn't go there bringing your Yu-Gi-Oh! Or, your Flames of War. No, this is Warmachine time for Warmachine. Bring your 25 points. Let's go. And again, making these kind of silos. It's really rare that I'm seeing these places where, oh, well, on Tuesdays it's 75 points, and then on Thursdays it's Warmachine, and then on Saturdays, like we're all kind of there playing the same thing, and table beside table, they're doing 25, we're doing 75, we're high-fiving each other, clinking our beers, I'm not hearing that. It really seems like it is big-time silos out there, 75 or 25, and that's very important for what we're going to be talking about in this video. Now, before we get into that next step though, well, if we're going to be saying, is one going to become more popular than the other, what are the benefits of either? Why would I be really want to be playing 75? And why would I be wanting to be playing 25 points? Well, let's start down at the 25 points. I've always gone over and given them a big thumbs up of why I love Warmachine, but let's go and give it a little bit more. Although, I gotta say, they did say 25 points, so that means Warmachine. That means Commandant, my new one that I'm pushing out now. And also, it could just be like playing regular Warmachine at 25 points. None other special rules needed. You're just playing it at 25 points. So why would this be something that would be becoming very popular? Well, the first really easy thing to say here is that it's smaller. And going along with being smaller, that means it's easier to get into financially and also just mental investment. If you only need to learn 25 points, that makes it a lot easier to know than like, okay, I got to control like 75 points. All this together means that it's really good for new players. And on top of this, they're fast games, right? Because it's only 25 points. You're getting in, your game's done. And now it's like, well, do I want to play somebody else? Or we're going to be doing a best of 3? Or we're going to do a best of 2? All these things are possible when you have shorter games that aren't going to be like big 2-hour affair type things, right? So all these things are great for this smaller 25 points. And I think out of all of them, financially, that part's really important. And also the part that with all this together, this is really good for new players. So as we're trying to get new players into the game, this is a very important format to become popular. Now, move that aside, why would we be looking at 75 points? Well, 75 points has some advantages. Whereas we said for the other one, really good for new players, well, you gotta kind of admit that 75 points is really good for veteran players. It is the most popular thing out there. If you're trying to go out there and trying to find a game, that's the one you're going to be looking for is 75. Although I'm going to take that one back because that's not really a fair clause. We're trying to take these two formats and say, if they're the same, what is the best? What are the bonuses between them? So to give a plus to 75 right now because it is currently the most popular is kind of unfair. So let's push that one away. Why else would 75 be good for veteran players? Well, 75 is also good for veteran players because you have a larger force. When you have a larger force, you have more creativity, more points of customization that you could be doing for making this force. As well, you have access to all your options. Whereas in Brawl Machine, you just can't play some things. You can't play your TK casters or your huge bases or some of the other things are on the ban list. In 75, you can use anything in your collection and you're good to go. Bring it out. Let's do this. You have your large force. You got to go and customize whatever you wanted in it. Great, let's go. And I mean, there might be a few people saying out there like, well, wait a second, I can customize my Brawl Machine list too. Look, it's simple math. If I have a combination lock that has 3 options and numbers and another combination lock that has an option of 10 different numbers, one has more combinations and permutations than the other, right? That's the big difference here. Sure, there's customization at 25, but there's way more you could be doing in permutations and customization in 75. It's just the way it goes. Now, which one is better tactically? That maybe is up to debate. You can say that in 75 points where you have more options, there's more mini interactions that are going on, that is more the tactician's game. Or is it maybe something where at that level, it's really, if you just bring this one broken thing, you really push through, you take all the synergy and you make a crazy overpowered list and push it forward. Maybe that's one argument. Maybe down in 25, now that these are faster, doing a best 2 out of 3 is actually going to bring about the more stronger player as opposed to one time at 75. I don't know. You can make arguments either way, but I think that's going to be the main thing there is that smaller, you're good for several things. You're good financially, what you have to learn. It's really good for new players, short game length, and at the larger end, currently it's the most popular, but we're kind of pushing that aside. So it really comes down to you can really customize and make your list whatever you want it to be, especially because nothing is banned. You take whatever you want in that list. So what actually do we want going forward? If we were going to say, if we could pick, we had power, what I would want to be the most popular going forward in 2022, I would want 25 points to be more popular because that's just the thing that's going to be helping us grow. We're in a tough spot right now in Warmachine. We're in a spot where we have just gone through COVID, we've lost a lot of players, and we need to grow that player base. So anything that is designed to being very open and welcoming to newer players, that's what we should be pushing. If that was more popular, and I'm a new player, I came to a new store, I'm ready to start playing something, and I see this 25-point game that is cheap to get into, easier to get into, faster games, or this big behemoth of a game, I'm probably going to lean towards the newer one. So for new players, we need that right now. However, in 2022, which do I think will be the most popular? It's still going to be 75. It's still going to be 75 because look, like I said with those silos, right now, more people play 75, right? For all of those veteran gamers. And when somebody goes into play, that's what there is. That's the only thing you can play is 75 because that's what's there. And it is also kind of frustrating. It's kind of frustrating that we as a Warmachine community are so stubborn in the way that we want to be playing this game. And then like you tell somebody like, hey, do you want to try this 25-point thing? No. 75 points is the only way you can play this game. And I hate that argument. You know, like literally, if you were to say, okay, not 75, what if we did 74? That's actually a little bit significant because we're down 1 point, but also 1 rec option. So maybe, that rec option is really important. Okay. What's a better game? You know, what is actually better for the game? 75 or 76? What do you play without 1 more point? Is it really going to change a lot of different things? And that's the thing here. That's really key to this. They might also say like, the game's designed to be played at 75. No, it's not. It's It's designed to be played at multiple different levels. And it's just like we as a player base have stubbornly been holding on to this 75. And I think as part of what's going on here as well is this battle between the two sides. I wish that there was like this marriage between them and we're all happy and loving, but it really is turning into an us versus them. Just like you're like the Warmachine players versus the Warhammer players, and like our game's better. We're having the same thing as like a civil war happening within right now our Warmachine bubble, and we're having the 75-point players versus the 25-point players. And the reason why this is important is to what the question really was, is will 25 points become more popular than 75? And my fear is that we're not in an environment that this is really possible, because there is such, animosity between these two sides where my side's better. Plus we're in these silos where in gaming groups, we only do 75. We only do 25. You are not in an environment where crossover is really possible. If all you ever do in your group is 75, you will never try 25, and so that will never really bleed over. If all you do is at 25 and don't try 75, that also won't bleed over the other way. Now, we do have one thing, though, that is going to try and steer this maybe in one way or the other, which is the fact that those newer groups that I talked about, of like, if you have a whole bunch of new players joining in, seems to be more commonly, they are going towards Brawl Machine. And that's where you're getting these little Brawl Machine bubbles, is groups of new players, either returning or completely new, that say like, hey, let's do this Brawl Machine thing, and that's it. So slowly over time, as new players come in and make these little Brawl Machine bubbles, that might start making enough to surpass the veterans. And especially like veterans, we're a salty bunch, right? Like, something changed, blah, I hate that, I'm out of here. And so as veterans get salty because they don't like change and they leave, and these new Brawl Machine bubbles keep on coming up, there could be a point where Brawl Machine surpasses, and that 25 points surpasses. Or again, I keep saying Brawl Machine, but it could also be Commandant or anything else. And I think the biggest thing here that I want to end with, though, is that even though that reasoning would lead us to a point to say, at some point then, 25 points will be more popular than 75, I think it's still the wrong answer. I think the right thing that we need to do is not keep on stressing this 75 versus 25 points, but really understanding that we should be encouraging all of it. Our ideal state is not a game store that does only 75 or only 25. It would be a game store that supports all of them. A gaming store that says, hey, we do 25 points on this day, 50 points on this day, 75 on this one, and on this day, free-for-all. In fact, it would be even better if every single day was a free-for-all. Again, it is the norm right now that you walk in and is understood that your gaming group plays 75 or plays 25. But wouldn't it be a lot better if you came in and you're like, oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, looks like we're up for this game. Hey, what are you looking for in this game? Oh, you know what? I got my big tournament list. I'm going to a tournament here next month. I want to really practice it at 75. Can we do a 75? Yeah, you bet we can do a 75. Oh, I just got into a new faction. I'm doing this at 25 points. Can we do a 25 pointer? Yeah, sure, no problem. Hey, you know what? I only got like an hour. Can we do a 25 pointer? Yeah, no problem. Or let's do something crazy. Let's do 50 points. Hey, yeah, let's do 50, whatever it is, whatever they feel like, that's what they play. Just break away all these like stigmas and all this normality around like it has to be 75 or 25 and just let it be flexible. And let it be flexible so that new players can get in there and grow their way through the game and learn it. And then sure, maybe if you want to make the argument that normally big tournaments are at 75, fine. That's something that as we bring our new players in, they develop up and then they start practicing if they want to for tournaments at the 75 point level. That'd be the best way to do this. So to me, that's my ideal. Not 25, not 75, but everything being allowed there. So there you go. There's my video. Hopefully that answered that question well enough. Again, I want to do a big thank you out there to all my patrons. I got my one content overlord right now, Darrell Duncan. I got my manipulators. I got Adrian, Andrew, Jordan, Kieran, Ryan, Samuel, and Sloth Monarchy. All you guys are great. And of course, everyone else watching, you're amazing too. You don't need to go and be a patron. I love the fact that you come and watch these videos. I would love it even more though if you comment down below. Let me know. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Or am I wrong? Do you feel like, no, it should be 25 is going to be more popular and it's going to be. Or maybe you're on the other side, like, no, 75 is the way that this game is supposed to be played. I am, I have an insider to Privateer Press and I know this is what's supposed to be. Sure, okay. I love having these conversations down below. So either way, thanks for coming out here. Thanks for watching. And we'll catch you later. Bye.